The moon hung heavy over Mactan, casting long shadows across the land. For weeks, the people of the island had sensed something dark on the horizon. Whispers of foreign ships and strange men had reached Lapu-Lapu's ears. But these were not just rumors. He had felt it in his bones, in the way the wind howled at night, how the medallion at his chest grew warm with warning. Something unnatural was coming. Lapu-Lapu stood at the shore, watching the strange vessels approach. His warriors were ready, their eyes sharp, and their blades sharper. But Lapu knew that swords alone wouldn't be enough to defeat what was coming. The power of the medallion pulsed against his skin, warning him that this battle would be unlike any other he had fought. From the deck of the lead ship, Ferdinand Magellan watched the shoreline with an unnatural hunger. Beside him stood Raja Humabon, the ruler of Cebu, and now an ally through a dark and twisted bond. Humabon had been seduced not by promises of wealth or power, but by the taste of eternal life. The blood pact of the Sandugo had been made, but not with wine or ritual cuts. Magellan had offered him something far darker, the curse of immortality through vampirism. "The time has come," Magellan whispered, his voice laced with a cold, malevolent edge. His fangs glistened in the moonlight, and his eyes burned with the hunger of an ancient predator. Humabon, now a creature of the night like his master, stood beside him, his own transformation complete. "Let us begin," Humabon said, his voice eerily calm, his once warm eyes now cold and lifeless. The ships touched the shore, and the foreign warriors disembarked, led by their vampiric leaders. Magellan stepped off first, his presence commanding and sinister, followed by Humabon, who had once been an ally to Lapu-Lapu but now felt nothing but a hollow hunger. Lapu-Lapu met them at the shoreline, his warriors flanking him. "You are not welcome here, invaders," Lapu-Lapu called out, his voice strong, unwavering. But the medallion around his neck pulsed more fiercely than ever, as if sensing the evil that had landed on the island. Magellan stepped forward, a cruel smile on his face. "I did not come to ask for your permission, warrior," he said, his voice dripping with arrogance. "This land, and all its people, now belong to me." Lapu-Lapu's eyes narrowed. He had faced monsters before, creatures of the night who preyed on the weak. But these men, no, these vampires were different. They were cunning, calculated, and far more dangerous than any Aswang or Capre he had ever faced. Humabon stepped forward next, his gaze locking with Lapu-Lapu's. "Old friend," he said, his voice soft but twisted with darkness. "Join us and you will never have to fear death again. The blood of the gods flows through me now. Through us. Together, we can rule these islands for eternity." Lapu-Lapu's heart clenched at the sight of Humabon. They had once stood side by side as allies, but now Humabon had become a puppet of Magellan, his soul corrupted by the promise of eternal life. Lapu-Lapu's grip tightened on his kampalan, his muscles tensing. "I will never betray my people," Lapu-Lapu growled. "I protect them from the shadows, not join them." Magellan's laugh echoed through the night, cold and empty. "So be it," he said, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. "But know this. Your blood will taste all the sweeter for your defiance." The battle erupted. Magellan moved with a speed and strength beyond any mortal man, his vampiric nature giving him an edge no human could match. He lunged at Lapu-Lapu, fangs bared, but Lapu was ready. The medallion flared with a blinding light, and Lapu sidestepped, bringing his kampalan down in a swift arc. The blade struck Magellan's side, and he let out a hiss of pain as dark, viscous blood oozed from the wound. But the vampire was not so easily defeated. With unnatural speed, Magellan retaliated, claws slashing through the air. Lapu barely blocked in time, the force of the blow sending him staggering back. Magellan's strength was monstrous, and his thirst for blood seemed endless. At the same time, Humabon faced off against Lapu-Lapu's warriors, his vampiric powers making him a deadly opponent. He moved like a shadow, evading their strikes with ease, his eyes glowing with a savage hunger. One by one he cut them down, feeding on their blood to strengthen himself. But Lapu-Lapu fought like a man possessed. The medallion at his chest glowed brighter with each strike, as if the spirits of his ancestors were guiding his hand. With a roar, he charged at Magellan once more, slashing and cutting with every ounce of strength he had. The two clashed in a deadly dance, a warrior against a creature of darkness. Each strike from Lapu's blade cut deeper, each dodge from Magellan becoming more frantic. But just as it seemed Lapu might gain the upper hand, Magellan's eyes glowed with a dark power and he leapt back, calling upon the night to aid him. Then, Humabon attacked. With a snarl, the vampire king lunged at Lapu-Lapu, sinking his fangs into Lapu's arm. Pain shot through him, but Lapu didn't falter. He slammed the hilt of his campilon into Humabon's face, knocking him back. "You were my brother, Humabon," Lapu-Lapu spat, his voice filled with sorrow, "but now you are nothing but a slave to darkness." Humabon's lips twisted into a cruel smile, blood dripping from his fangs. "I am more than you could ever be, Lapu. I am eternal," but Lapu-Lapu only shook his head. "You are lost." With a mighty swing, Lapu severed Humabon's head from his body, sending the vampire king crumpling to the ground, his body turning to ash in the moonlight. Magellan, seeing his ally fall, let out a roar of fury. "You will pay for that, warrior." But Lapu-Lapu stood firm, his medallion glowing brighter than ever. "Come, invader," he said. "Let me send you back to the shadows where you belong." To be continued.